You may have noticed a bit of a resurgence in so-called polygamy deniers, people who argue that Joseph Smith never taught or practiced plural marriage. And you may have thought, that's a little strange, since that's a bit like arguing that the swig you're holding is and always has been pure Dr. Pepper. But their arguments can be intriguing at times, especially since Joseph was very careful to never publicly teach or endorse plural marriage outside of D&C 132. And the earliest copy of D&C 132 wasn't publicly released until well after Joseph Smith's death, because the original was supposedly destroyed at Emma's behest. But a new article purports to have found strong evidence of Joseph's authorship of the entirety of D&C 132, and it involves stylometry, a statistical method for determining authorship of specific texts. And as a stats guy who loves the Book of Mormon, I can never resist geeking out whenever Paul Fields and his team pulls this statistical cannon off the war cart. They start by going over the historical evidence, and the provenance for Joseph's authorship of that section is formidable. Joseph's scribe, William Clayton, reports Joseph dictating the revelation in an entry in his journal on the same day. That revelation was later copied by Joseph Kingsbury, and that's the copy that we still have today. Hiram would take that copy to the Nauvoo High Council, where 7 of the 15 men present left accounts of its content. Oh, and portions of that content can be found in a number of discourses from both Joseph and Hiram prior to Joseph's death. So yeah, Joseph wrote it. But if you need more convincing, the stylometry is even harder to argue with. They looked at a broad set of candidate authors and, importantly, different portions of the D&C, including early revelations from 1831, later sections from the Nauvoo period, and the D&C's later epistles and instructions. All of these have word patterns that are clearly distinguishable. These bubbles represent 99.9% confidence intervals. And where does D&C 132 land? Spoiler alert, it's not with Brigham Young, or Hiram Smith, or William Clayton. Both the plural marriage and the non-plural marriage portions overlap with the 1831 sections of the D&C. This suggests not only that Joseph Smith wrote it, but that he received it early, and that he was sitting on it for years prior to reluctantly practicing it. Perhaps, one might venture, at the threat of an angel's drawn sword. Check out the full article from Fields and colleagues for even more bubbly stylometric goodness. The article is Historical and Stylometric Evidence for the Authorship of Doctrine and Covenants 132. They even have a neat little website where you can play around with those bubbles for yourself, and I'll see you next week.